In this companion episode to Life in Bloom, 110, A Flower Arranger's Best Friend, RJ and I will be talking about one of my favorite collectibles, the flower frog. I have hundreds of them. Flower frogs were a perfect topic for Life in Bloom. We'll talk about Hamilton Dahlia Farm and their link to Kellogg cereal. I submerge a dahlia underwater and share some of the collection in this very special show all about flower frogs. Ribbit Ribbit. You can take your flower arranging to a whole new level by using a flower frog. It may even cause you to become less stressed and provide a moment of zen that can help you reset your day. Anytime you're in the company of flowers, you are harnessing the health and wellness benefits flowers provide. Visit your local flower seller today and see how flowers can improve your health and wellness. Cal Flowers is a proud sponsor of the Behind the Bloom podcast and also Life in Bloom, where flowers and wellness go hand in hand.
Hey, Jay.
RJ, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. My favorite time of year.
Yes.
I just love it when the weather's cold. So I know everybody's like, oh, wow, crazy guy. But yeah, no, I like it when it's cold.
I can see a winter wonderland behind you.
It's true. And I just got this as a Helly Hansen sweater, and it's so warm and snuggly.
Oh, it
I
looks
just
nice.
love it. It's really cozy. So I think that's part of my whole thing is you can only take off so many clothes, and when it's hot.
Yeah.
But in the winter, you can just keep adding layers and stuff like that. And I just love all that.
Yeah. It's fun bundling up and
Yeah. And I have flannel lined jeans. I
do too. Yeah.
I love them.
There comes a time in the year where I only wear those. I have one pair, but I just wear them every day, my flannel lined jeans.
I know, it's true.
You get used to being warm like that and you go back to normal jeans and it's not the same.
Yes. And for those of you who are listening to this episode in the middle of summer, you're like, what are they talking about?
Right.
Hey, we're going to talk about flower frogs.
Yes. Oh, I'm super excited.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you have a tip first on flower frogs.
I do. It's tip 149, frogging around. So it's talking about, this is from our Bloom 365 book. It's our award-winning book, which won the IPPY, a gold IPPY for independent publishing. And I think that that's wonderful. This is one of the tips in that book, and they look like this. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Okay.
And where can you find it, Jay? The book?
You can find it on our website, ubloom.com, and we'll put a link down below for you and at ubloom.com/store. And there's deals on them too. So sometimes, where there's deals that we run too. So check that out. So frogging around is flower frogs or kenzans. And we'll talk about this in the show, but it's the spiky little thing. And they're very popular in antique stores right now too. Is a time-honored flower arranging structure. They are typically weighted and have needle-like tongs. Attach a flower frog inside a vessel with florist clay and then place flowers into the spikes. Then simply fill the container with water and enjoy. That's the technique that we use. I love that I talk about flower clay because it's like this stuff that was called stickum.
Oh.
It's like a clay that's super sticky because it's waterproof. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about flower clay, we had them in our drawers at work, and when you put them on the inside of a container, it will be there forever.
You can't get it off.
It's not coming off. And so here's yet another Bloom 365 tip. If you put a piece of duct tape, just a simple piece of waterproof duct tape in the bottom of your container, and then put your florist clay on it and put the flower frog on it, then after you've used that flower frog, you can just peel off that duct tape and you've saved your container. I do it a lot. I used to do it a lot too for people who would want to have a permanent arrangement put in a keepsake container, like a porcelain container or something. It's really best if we glue that foam in there. But if you glue it in there, you're in
forever.
trouble, right? So I think it's very interesting to know that trick for putting that in there, that down in there. And so you could hot glue something down to that duct tape, and then when you're done, just pull it out.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wonder about stuff getting stuck down there. It's like
on Grandma's treasured hand-painted, bowls she made from the, who knows. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I just want to make sure that, people are paying attention to that. And it's just like lining, lining containers. This week on uBloom, we have a episode about these porcelain mugs that were my mother-in-law's. And I noticed one time I filled them with water and they leached because they're porcelain. And so I have a little vase that slips down inside them. So you always get to protect the inside of your container because that can be tricky. All right, so that's your trick. That's your trick for this week.
Love that, Jay.
The flower frogs. And we're going to talk all about them, so that's good.
So you had a whole episode on flower frogs. So episode 110 of Flower Ranger's Best Friend, which I'm excited to talk about that episode because I knew about flower frogs, but I honestly didn't know what they were called until watching this episode.
Oh,
and
okay.
So that was so much fun to learn about kind of all of the and like why it's called a frog.
It's a frog because it resides below the water. That's why it got the nickname. And so the flower frog is a Japanese instrument. When I went to Japan in 1977, my parents sent me over there to study ikebana, and we did ikebana in flower frogs. So I mean that's what we were using, and there they call them a kenzan. That's the Japanese name, and I think it translates to pack of needles.
Okay.
It's a weighted lead base, and then it has these upright needles stuck in it that you can stick things through. But it's interesting. Last season 7 of Life in Bloom, we did another show about flower frogs where we showed the 4 different types. So we showed the kenzan, like this one. We showed mesh ones. We showed a ceramic one. And we showed a glass one. And so that people could see the different types and how to use different types. And that episode's been very popular too. But this is truly where it all started. And interestingly enough, I collect flower frogs. I think I have over 750.
Wow.
I have a problem. So I try not to, I look very carefully at flower frogs to try and determine if I have that one or not.
Do you use them all? Do they all serve a different function, or is it just kind of a fun thing to have all different kinds?
Well, I love having all different kinds because what's really interesting is some of the ones that I show in this show are ones from the 1940s.
Cool.
And there were different designs and wire ones that were made. There's a guy who sells antiques at the Elegant Antique Show here in Michigan, and he lives here in Grand Rapids, and I want to go see his flower frog collection because he said he had a very extensive one, but he pared it down to about 25. But he has a wire flower frog that's in the shape of like a chinoiserie wreath.
Oh.
An urn. And it's like, these are really incredible. And it was funny, when I walked by his booth one day, he had a really unusual flower frog sitting out. And I said, "How much is this?" And he said, "Oh, I just picked that up over there. It's not for sale."
Oh.
And so then we started talking to each other. And he's just a really interesting gentleman. And I want to go see his collection. So I think some of them, I've got really interesting shelves to have them on. I wish there was a way for me to display the mass of them. And I've been thinking about this is taking a blank wall and just putting little nails in and hanging them all on it. And then they would all be there like that. And some, like I bought one that was a vintage box that was filled, that would have been at a store in the 30s or 40s. It was filled. And so I just have that box with those inside it.
Okay.
And there's like similar ones that I have, but I have those, and I have ceramic ones, and I have glass ones, and I have all the different kinds. And so we scattered them out on the table, the more interesting ones in this episode. And so that's the dining room table. I mean, that's where you and I had lunch.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I mean, and they are tucked away in a little cupboard that I got. That's the hardest thing, is finding someplace to display them, because all these little cupboards that have little nooks and that have like 70 little nooks in them, and you see them at antique shows, they don't want to sell them because they want to use them for display. They don't want to sell them.
Oh, right.
So there's that. So I'm always looking for something different to be able to do with them. And they're short, I mean, most of them are this tall. Although I have a giant one, that's bigger than my head, that I found at the antique mall one time. And I just didn't even know that they made a flower frog that big.
It's got to be a huge vessel that it would fit inside of, right?
Yeah, and we ended up using it in an episode, I believe, too. And it was just like, it's very functional because it's really good for big stems. If you're doing a volume of work, it's really nice. And you're using because it's heavy too. I mean, it's heavy, and you have to have a container that's going to support that too. But typically, now you see them on eBay and stuff, and people are using them to like put a picture in or put a place card in. And that's a great use of them as too. The other thing to remember, and this is really important, is clean them. because
Oh.
if you don't clean them, they'll get rusty. And really, the biggest danger of them getting rusty is poking your finger.
Ooh.
And so that's why your tetanus shot should always be up to date. Mine is, and they hurt, and tetanus shots hurt. Okay, I'll just say that. But it's always good for florists, any florist who's listening, please, please, please make sure your tetanus shots are up to date, because you can get tetanus from thorns of roses and from, slivers and things like that too. So it's just always good to clean them. And many that I buy that are very cheap are dirty.
Oh, okay.
There's
So you gotta clean them up then.
there's a cool little tool that is a Japanese tool that will allow you to straighten the tongs and also clean in between them. It's got a little pointer on one. It's a little metal thing.
Oh, cool.
You can buy them at stores that would sell Japanese flower arranging items like that. So if you can buy a Japanese cutter there, you might be able to buy that tool there too. Or you might be able to buy flower frogs too. Because flower frogs are still modern. You can get them at almost any hobby store.
Oh, right.
So they're new. I mean, what's new is old is new again, right? What's old is new again.
Well, it's funny you brought up the vintage shops too. I was actually at a vintage shop in my neighborhood recently and saw a flower frog that had like greeting cards on it. So they had like a kind of an area.
Right.
They had like old greeting cards and like baseball cards that they like put in the little like flower frog. And it was so funny because I was watching the episode and then go out there and I was like, oh, that's exactly what Jay was talking about. So it's fun. It's funny to see them out in different places.
Absolutely.
And
Barbara Schnur, who's been on the show many times, she works for Mayish in San Francisco, and she's a lifelong friend. She's originally from Michigan. We love to go antiquing, but we don't see each other that much, and our time frames are really hard. But we specially stayed over a weekend in San Francisco so we could go vintage shopping with Barbara, and we have the best time, and we laugh for 5 or 6 hours, and and we all remember, we're all of the same age, so we all remember this stuff, right? So she's like, I want to take you to this little place in San Mateo. And interestingly enough, there is a book that a woman wrote from San Mateo. It is the end-all be-all flower frog compendium. It's a catalog, and it shows all of her flower frogs, and it shows the most rare ones, and it shows the most, the most common ones, and it gives price ranges for them and everything, And I have that book because I try and mark, but I also like to just peruse it and see, hey, oh, that's an interesting one. Wouldn't it be fun to find that one? We go into this antique store, and it's kind of like one of those where you have to dig through, you got to dig and dig and dig, right?
Yeah.
So, and I kind of like those because it's the thrill of the hunt then, right?
Right,
everything isn't perfectly displayed. So I go over, and there's this one case, and it's filled with flower frogs.
Oh, cool.
And they're all flower frogs that I've never seen before. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm trying to peer into this case to see if I can see how much they are. And this one has like a $sign, a little teeny tiny thing, a $sign, a 1, a 5. And I'm just like, oh God. Do you suppose that's like $159? Or do you suppose? And then there was another one that was a 1.8, and I was like, and I'm like, this lady knows what she's in San Mateo and stuff. She probably has this book or something. She knows what she's got. And I said, can I open this and just look at these? And she said, oh, sure. It was really funny. She had a scarf wadded up in the latch so she could keep it open.
Oh,
and so she pulled it open, and I was just like, so I picked up this one that was super, super, super intriguing to me, and I knew that it was a very valuable one.
Okay.
It's about a $500 flower frog. Okay. And so I flip over that little tag, and this is the tag that says 1.5. And I'm like, what is it? And it could have been $1,500 for all I know.
Right.
It could be right. I flip it over, and it's $15.
What?
It's $15. And I'm just like, okay. So I reach over, and there's another one, and grab that one. $18. This one over here, $7. This one's, and I'm just like, and I'm pulling them out and putting them on the table, right? And I'm like, can you do a deal if I buy all of these? And she's like, oh yeah, you can have 10% off if you buy all of them. And she said, are you going to pay me cash or credit card? And I said, what do you want? She said, well, if you pay me cash, then I'll give you the 10%. But if you're going to pay me credit card, no. And I was like, okay. And I turn and look at Kel, and Kel's already digging in his billfold, and she's like, yeah, okay, we got. And I said, tell me how much these all are, and I'll look some more. And my friend Barbara says, go ahead, tell her what you do. You're dying to tell her. And I was just like, shut up.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm trying to get a deal here, And so the lady's like, oh, what do you do? So then I tell her, and she's like, oh, okay. And so then she comes, she's like, well, it was like $150, and I got like 11 of them.
Okay. Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay. And she said, I've got them all bagged up for you here. I have one more favor. And I said, and I had given her my card and everything. And she said, how bad were these priced?
What'd you tell her?
And I said, they could have been more expensive. And I
Oh,
said, there's a couple that are pretty valuable. And she said, well, this was from a lady here in San Mateo who brought them in who needed some quick cash. And so she said, I just basically priced them according to what I bought them from her to give her some quick cash. And I said, well, is it? And I told her the name of the person. I'm not going to say that person's name on here, but I told her the name of that person. And she said, I can't talk to you anymore about this. And I was like,
really?
Okay. So now Barbara and I are just like, we have to go back to this. I keep calling her and say, go, because this close to where Barbara lives. And I was like, go check out and see if there's more flower frogs. But yeah, so I mean, there were some really cool ones I have never seen.
Oh,
they
cool.
are in the book, but, and I'm like, I wonder if this is the one that's in this book. I was glad that I found a wonderful home for them.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's
Who
true.
better to get them than you, Jay? I mean, yeah.
Right. Someone else who's a huge. So on Facebook, there's the Flower Frog Collectibles page. Those people are wild. I just love watching it. They have got these, I mean, and they're like Roseville ones, and there's these ones that are from Germany, and there's some incredible flower frogs on there. And I feel a little bit pedestrian sometimes that I'm just kind of like, well, I've got these over here, And one lady had taken all of hers out and laid them on a table one day and took a picture, and I was just like, oh well, I don't have a problem. This person might have a problem, but I don't have a problem.
No.
And they collect them in every color, and so, especially the glass ones and stuff. So that's pretty fascinating. I love that. I mean, and I just think they're such a cool thing. It's just such a cool thing.
Yeah.
And it has particular interest in my desire to arrange flowers. So I think that that's a wonderful thing to collect.
Right.
If you're a chef, and you want to collect pots and cooking utensils or cooking pots and pans, good for you. I mean, if it's something that you love, then you should be attached to it. So yeah.
Well, and how cool that they're part of the arrangement too. It's not just like the function, but also visually when you're using like a glass vase or something, using something that visually, makes sense to go with everything is so cool too. I feel like that opens up so many different like creative options for you when you're arranging. So I really like that.
Absolutely. I think that that's a really big deal. And I think that the other thing that is, I think, really important is that you look at what you're collecting, pick and choose, be selective. Don't buy all of. I'm presently watching. I watch Hoarders all the time because Matt Paxton's a really good friend of mine and I love him. There's a Hoarding Christmas or something like that, and these people who have to have every blow mold, and they want 10 of each one, and I'm just like, oh my god. I mean, I can see how that can get out of hand quickly.
Yeah.
So I do try and be like, oh, do we have? And Kel will be good. He's like, do we have that one? And I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, I think I've seen it before. And I'm like, okay. So then I will defer to him sometimes. So I think that that's good too. So it's good to have a good partner when you're collecting stuff. So that's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you know flowers perform best in clean water with the precise food? Chrysal Flower Food is formulated by scientists to prolong the vase life of flowers as much as possible, and it's easy to use. I always choose Chrysal Flower Food because it feeds the flowers, resulting in vibrant color and enhanced fragrance, while also keeping bacteria levels down. My personal favorite product is Chrysal Professional 3. If you want to experience the benefits, Chrysal Flower Food products are available at their website, chrysalflowerfood.com. That's CHRYSAL flowerfood.com. And be sure to use our discount code uBloom10 for 10% off your purchase. Support the joy of flowers. The Life in Bloom Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to flower education and inspiring a love of flowers in everyone. The foundation helps fund the production of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom on public television, making it possible for viewers across the country to enjoy the beauty and benefits of flowers. The foundation also provides free flower education to high schools, colleges, and floriculture programs through uBloom.com, helping students and future florists bloom in their own careers. Your donation in any amount makes a difference. Plus, all contributions are 100% tax deductible. If you'd like to help us continue sharing the power of flowers, visit thelifeinbloomfoundation.org to donate today. Thank you for your support.
Well, so I love this episode too. So you kind of went through all the history and everything. So you studied in Japan, studied Ikebana.
My parents insisted. So my parents were like, okay, when I was 17, they said, you need to be formally trained in flower arranging so that you will be good at it.
Okay.
And so they sent me to Japan, and I studied in Japan. I studied Ikenobo at an Ikebana school. What was really interesting about that situation was I was there with my friend Toshi. He was studying to be an azalea nurseryman, and his family had a place in Lincoln, Nebraska called Azalea Land. I don't even know what happened to Toshi. Toshi, if you're listening to this, call me because we should talk. But anyway, it was so great because Toshi could speak Japanese. I could not. I was 17. I was an idiot. I mean, I always tell this story as my first day of class, I wore this terry cloth short outfit. This was like blue terry cloth shorts and a white terry cloth shirt, and I had on Converse high top blue Converse tennis shoes and like the tube socks that had the 3 stripes across the top, and I had hair kind of like Bobbie Sherman, and I had big Dave Garroway glasses. So those of you who don't know who that is, you can Google Bobbie Sherman and Dave Garroway. He used to do the Timex commercials. So there's that. But that's what I looked like. And so I was sitting there the first day, and the teacher said, we're going to go around and we're going to ask everyone where they're from and a little bit of their personal history. And so there was like 10 other ladies in the class. Each person was saying something different. I couldn't understand them because it was all in Japanese. It came to me, and I said, I'm Jay Schwanke, and my family has a flower shop in Fremont, Nebraska called Green's Greenhouses, and I'm here to learn formal Ikebana. This lady just all of a sudden starts to talk and asking questions at me, and I can't understand her. So I looked at the teacher, and she said, she wants to know if you know Carnation Joe Green.
What?
And
No
I'm
way.
like, yes, that's my grandfather. And she's like, oh, I met him in a bar in San Francisco. It is such a testament to my grandfather, because my grandfather always said that my grandfather always told me, when you're at a convention or you're somewhere, always go to the bar, because that's where you're going to make your best networking, and that's where you're going to get to meet people.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay, you bet my grandpa in a bar in San Francisco, because it was, he was at a convention or something, and he was sitting in there with his Lily, and they were having Manhattans, But so many wonderful things have happened to me because of the networking that I've done at conventions during cocktail time. And I think, that's an important concept as well. But yeah, so they sent me there. I was there for 6 weeks. It has that and Phil Rolota. So those of you who have seen season 7 and Flower Icon, I also attended 2 of Phil Rolota's schools. I attended one of Bill Harper's schools. I attended one of Michael Polychrone's schools. All of these were like trade schools. And I gained more education about flowers and flower arranging from those than I did from my formal education at Midland Lutheran College in Fremont, Nebraska, where I got a degree in marketing and public relations. But those 2 things are helpful, but that was not where I learned about flower arranging. So my parents wanted to make sure that I was trained, and I think it's a really good thing when parents don't want to train you don't train you themselves, because they wanted me to be formally trained and not to have their mistakes, not do the same thing that they do. So
their bias almost.
I could make my own decisions about what to do with it. And my dad still to this day, I mean, we have the Memorial Day episode that we'll talk about one of these days. But my dad and I arranged with the same amount of flowers, and his arrangement looks so much different than mine. My dad was really good at big and showy. And I am much more influenced by the starkness of an Ikebana arrangement and the contemporary aspects that Phil Rolota taught me. So those are important. So yeah.
Well, I love Ikebana. There's the Chicago Botanic Gardens near where I live does an Ikebana display every year. Yeah, and it's so much fun. We go every year and just walk around, and there's both people that are arranging. You get to watch it in real time, and there's all these displays too, and it's so much fun. And they're all so different too. It's like you kind of have an idea in your mind of what it's going to look like, and then you go see, and everything is so different, and you spend time looking at each one and comparing them, and it's so much fun to look at. Yeah.
It's wild, and we have a lot of people who send in flowers from you, the viewers, who do Ikebana. And it's so lovely to look at. We had this one lady, she's a sister. She's a nun, and she's a sister in the Amityville convent.
Oh, wow.
I want to go meet her.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 2 things meeting there.
Yes.
But she does Ikebana for the convent, and she puts them in all of the different rooms.
Oh, how
And
cool.
they're just so lovely. And they have one room that's a puzzle room, and I'm a huge puzzle fan. And so she has an arrangement that sits by the puzzle. And
Oh.
so then when people are sitting there working on the puzzle, they can also look at the flowers. But I think it's so wonderful that people experience that and do that. And I think the other thing about it, the thing I remember too, was we spent a whole day one time in class just looking at the flower.
Oh, cool.
Seeing which way it grew, how the wind had affected it, how the leaves grew, where bugs took a bite out of it, where something might have happened when it was a seedling and then it worked its way around that. There's just so much stuff. It's very meditative. It's also very symbolic, and I guess I would say it's very religious.
Oh, yeah.
Too, because they're placed on altars in homes many times. But at the same time, it's a ritual.
Right.
You and I have an episode coming up where we're going to talk about rituals. But I think that's good foreshadowing about that is when you do Ikebana, you're not going to throw together an Ikebana arrangement in 10 minutes. You can, please, you can, but you shouldn't. Because it's about slowing down and observing and making placements. I have a wonderful book that my brother-in-law gave me. It was an Ikebana book that I saw in an antique store in Austin, and I didn't buy it, and I was so sorry I didn't buy it. And it's in this episode. I think we bring it out in this episode. And it's an Ikebana book from the 60s, and it's fabulous, and it's probably 700. It's this thick. It's like it's 4 inches thick. It's got 700 pages and 700 projects. And actually, we do make an arrangement, I believe, in this episode that is based on that. No, I think that's in the Japanese. You know what? I'm this is in the Japanese. It's in the Japanese flower arts.
Yeah.
Episode.
Sorry, I got so excited about Ikebana. I'm like going down this Ikebana. They get
all excited in my head. They're all together up there and just rolling through there. So yeah, I think that using a flower frog just gives you a little bit of power. And I think the other thing that is important about this too is that how we used it when we were at the Dahlia Farm and how I sank a bloom down to the bottom.
That was so cool.
Because submerged blooms can be a really big thing for people. They love that. I believe it's our show about water where we submerge. We make submerged arrangements. That was a really great example because all flowers float. And so if you attach them down into this pin frog, it's heavy enough to hold it at the bottom of a container, and then you can fill the container up with water. Now, that flower's only going to last about 18 to 24 hours, but it's really cool to see it magnified down there inside the vase.
Yeah, the perspective of it is so cool, looking through the vase. And
Yeah, it's true. And Hamilton Dahlia Farm is gone now, which is really sad.
Yeah.
And so when we were there, she is such an amazing spirit. And she had told us, I'm going to retire because I've had a swimming pool for 14 years and I've never been in it because I'm always out here with the dahlias. And that dahlia place was so popular. People would go there and do pictures all the time. And so the story is that her father, Kellogg's, because Kellogg's is up here in Battle Creek, Michigan, they're right across the way. So he went over there and he said, I understand you want to sell dahlia corums and we want to do that on the back of your boxes. And the guy said, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Hamilton, Michigan, Hamilton Dahlia Farm. And he said, you're not big enough, and kind of ushered him out the door. So when you grow dahlias for corums, you deadhead them. You don't want the bulb, you don't want the flower to become a full-fledged flower and fall apart because it will send more strength to the bulb and you'll have a bigger, healthier bulb. So he went back and got a whole bunch of boys from Hamilton and they deadheaded all those and went back to the Kellogg's factory and laid them on the ground and then called the guy in his office and said, look out your office. Do you still think I'm not big enough? And he said, get up here right now. And then he got that job. And so you would send a 50-cent piece on a postcard to them, and they would send you 3 dahlia bulbs. Okay?
That is so cool.
And she still has the original box and the original 50-cent piece. Okay, but here's where it gets really fun. The government called her and said, can we have some of our 50-cent pieces back because you have them all? And they were getting so many orders that they were taking up all the 50-cent pieces in the United States, right? And the Battle Creek post office decided to open a post office in Hamilton because they were getting 3 to 6 bags of mail a day.
Whoa. Wow.
Okay, were postcards with a 50-cent piece taped on the back. Can you imagine how heavy those were?
No.
And her and her sisters would just sit in the thing and pack 3 bulbs in a box and 3 bulbs in a box and 3 bulbs in a box and send them out to people. It's remarkable. And he had hybridized, I think she told me, like over 16 different varieties that didn't exist anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
And the one at the bottom of that vase is the Harry Coop one, which is named after her dad.
Oh.
So when she decided to close, Hope Dahlia's, who you've seen on my show before too, okay? Hope Dahlia's is a mother-daughter group that were doing a Dahlia Farm. They sold their dahlias to them.
Oh,
okay. And so that they could plant them. And they went to a local farmer and they said, we need to keep these in a cooler. And he said, okay. And so he put them in a cooler where there was moisture, and they need to be in a cool, dry place. And they lost all the bulbs. They all died. All that hybridization, all that stuff is gone.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Which, I don't know. So now, okay, I'm going to look at it from another perspective.
Okay.
My favorite thing in the world about flowers is that they're transitory. You know, is that when those flowers, the petals start to drop off those tulips or drop off that delphinium and hit the table, you know that this period is over and you get more.
Yeah.
You know, that's
there was
what
like a moment in time.
Right. And it's just captured and it's fleeting and it's transitory, and that's wonderful. That I don't stay awake at night and cry. I just think that's what happened. That those dahlias were transitory. They were here for a period of time, and we captured this. Jan Brondike, what an incredible human. What an incredible human. I'm just so glad that we filmed that.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's just so happy, and she's just so great, and she would do anything for anyone. You know, and it was just, she's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person. I don't know where Jan is. And Jan, if you're listening to this, call me because I want to have a cup of coffee.
I loved her story too about like going out and trying to work somewhere else, and it was an office job, and she was like, no, I need to be outside and going back. I was like, that's so relatable, and also like so good for her to like recognize like, you know, this is not for me. I need to be outside. I need to be doing something that makes me happy. Like that was really, I don't know, cool to hear. And I was like,
And I think, you know, she said, I loved working with my dad. I loved working with my dad. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gotten to see them together.
Oh, right.
Because she loved her dad. I mean, it's in every drop of every word that comes out of her mouth was just how thankful and grateful she was that they had that. And it was so beautiful. And we actually went there. There's some pictures in this where it's very stormy. We went one morning at 6 a.m. We got there and it just started to pour rain, and we had to abandon the shoot. And so then we came back a couple weeks later and filmed with Jan again. And I loved it too. I'll put the link on there because there's a visit to Hamilton Dahlia Farm that is on our website that's like one of our flower farm tours. So it's much longer and you can learn more about it.
Oh, cool.
And so that's something that's available on uBloom.com, and it's open to anybody anytime. So we add those links at the end of this, RJ, and I think it's such a great idea because you can reference back to stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah,
and I think it's a really good way for people to follow up and learn more about a subject that's there for sure. So,
right.
Yeah.
And you have so much just content and so many different things to share, Jay. It's like so much fun to look back and, you know, to know that there's more than just, you know, what's on your show. There's so many other things that you have, like, I mean, you could spend all day looking at so many different cool videos that you have. So I love that.
We're going to start in January. We're going to start featuring a hidden treasure in our newsletter, and it's going to be a video that people haven't viewed very much because I can see that, and we're going to tell them about it. It might just be something that people are overlooking. And I just think it's a good idea to do that. Because, I mean, we have so many different options for people to learn about it. And I think it's going to be great to know that, okay, here's a hidden gem. Have you seen this? I think it's a great way. Frog jam. Okay,
Yes.
can we just talk about frog jam for
Yes. Yeah.
We used to try and look for recipes that really related to the program. This was our first season, so we really tried to do that, right? And we don't do that so much anymore. It's more like, if this is delicious, we'll figure out a way to work it in. But frog jam, and so it's made with figs, raspberries, oranges, and ginger. I could not find a fig to save my life.
Oh.
Kelly's like, well, we could order it off the internet. And I said, oh, that's really nice. You know, so we're just going to say, here's this jar of jam that we ordered off the internet. And he's like, yeah, let's do that. Because that's what a normal person would do.
Yeah. See, I loved that, Jay. I thought it was really, sometimes it doesn't need to be complicated.
And making jam is hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Frog jam is available on the internet. Let's order it. And here it is. And it was perfect. So it worked out really well. Yeah. And the juicy frog is also a really good. This is a really I'm so surprised. People love this. This is one of our top rated flower cocktails.
Okay.
I don't know whether it just sounds good or whether it tastes good or what people think about it. But I mean,
juicy frog sounds, that catches your eye.
The
juicy frog.
And it was such a pretty drink. And so I know this is a really weird thing, but at the beginning of the show, it's sitting on the fountain in the backyard, and there's a frog in the fountain, and you can't really see it. But we have 2 frogs that come live in our fountain over the summer.
Oh.
And that's where they spend all their time. And so it was like, well, yeah, so let's just shoot it on the edge of the so that was just fun too. But again, for these recipes too, people should remember, when you go to my website, there's 2 ways to get recipes, whether they're flower cocktails or the other ones. You can simply go to my blog and type in #flower cocktail hour and then hit return, and it'll bring up all of the cocktails that we've ever had on the show.
Cool.
Or you can do #recipe and bloom, and it will bring up all the recipes that have been on the show in my blog, and it's free. If you are a subscribing member, if you're doing the $7.95 a month and you have that, there are PDFs that are printable that are gorgeous of all the recipes and all of the cocktails that Kelly has created. And that's an exclusive benefit to people who are subscribers. So so I will play devil's advocate. If you wanted to subscribe for 1 month, you could, and download all those. And then you'd have a whole collection. And it would just be $7.95. There you go. So
don't tell people that, Jay.
I don't. Well, it doesn't matter because
I
it's, but I think it's just interesting is that people say that they have a hard time finding them. And if they don't call the thing exactly what it is, if they don't call this the juicy frog, it probably won't come up because of the way search engines work. Right. But if you put in flower cocktail hour, hashtag flower cocktail hour, all one word, no spaces, then all of them come up and you can peruse them all. And you might find another one that you love.
And we're going to talk all about cocktail hour on our next episode, aren't we?
We have an episode coming up all about flower cocktail hour. Yeah. So this is our next episode, and that's going to be great. So because I this kind of got me excited about that too. So yeah.
Jay, before we close it out, can I tell you one funny story about flower frogs?
Yes.
My personal experience. So I work a lot of times in like the food photography industry. Like we do a lot of commercials and stuff.
Correct.
And so there's a lot of times where when people are arranging French fries in a fast food commercial, they put a flower frog down in the bottom of the fry carton. And so if you're
really, so they can poke it onto
you can put
that?
The French fries.
Ladybird is so excited.
She's excited.
She's excited about. You said French fries.
Yeah.
So okay.
So if you're watching a food commercial and you're seeing like a fry carton that's sitting upright, a lot of times in the bottom there's a little flower frog down there, and they take the French fries and they stick them all in there so they can all like kind of fan out and stay in the same position. So there's oftentimes where I'll be working on a shoot and they'll put this little flower frog in there and then put all the French fries in there and stick them out so that way that they can arrange the French fries in a position.
And it's weighted, so it's going to hold it in
exactly.
place.
Yeah.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. So anytime you see a food commercial now, look out for it and know that inside that carton, there's a little flower frog in there.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
Yeah.
I love everything about that. That's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my, what a different use.
Yeah.
Write in, tell me your different uses for flower frogs, but it's going to be hard to beat yours. That's
yeah. Next time I see one, I'll take a picture for you, Jay, because that's definitely something that comes up pretty often.
I'm not going to look at any commercial the same way now.
Oh, yeah.
Flower frog fries, please.
If there's no frog, they'll take toothpicks and put them through the bottom and then put flour foam on the bottom of the carton. So there's toothpicks sticking out of the bottom of the French fry, and then they stick them into the flour foam.
So, I mean, and that's very interesting because Oasis, the flour foam that is the leader in the industry, that was created to alleviate the expense and injuries with flower frogs.
Oh, interesting.
So it was meant to hold flowers in place, and what they wanted was something that would allow it to take up water, because with the flower frog, it's sitting below the water, so once you're stuck on that little nail, you can still take up water. They wanted the Oasis, the flower foam, to hold things in place and still transmit water to them. So Vernon Smithers, the gentleman who developed it, I believe it was 1943, he said, you know what? We need to make something that would replace this, that would be less expensive. Everyone could have, it could be available anywhere, and then it will hold the flowers in place and it would take up water. I mean, Vernon Smithers, as a kid, Vernon Smithers, my dad would introduce me to Vernon Smithers, and when I shake hands with him, he always had a silver dollar in his hand, and he'd give you a silver dollar. But cool. yeah, Vernon Smithers is a great man. But yeah, I mean, so it's interesting that there's a correlation still when you're dealing with photographing French fries. That don't have a flower frog? Use flower foam.
Right.
Perfect.
Very similar to what you do, Jay.
There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. That was a great ending for us.
Oh, yeah.
RJ, I appreciate it so much. So, all right. Well, we'll see you later.
Yeah,
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us this week on Behind the Bloom podcast with Jay Schwanke and RJ Poole. If you loved what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And share it with a friend to help us spread the joy, one bloom at a time. Thank you for taking the time to slow down with us. And hopefully you left feeling a little lighter and inspired to try something new. Make sure to join us next week for a brand new episode. Thanks for being here with us, Behind the Bloom. Hey, just one more thing. If you love flowers, you've got to check out uBloom.com. It's the online home of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, where you can stream every episode for free. Plus, you'll find Behind the Bloom videos, my blog, show recipes, and so much more. There's also a massive video archive, over 1,800 how-to videos, flower farm documentaries, and even my very first series, JTV. All Life in Bloom episodes, exclusive web content, and farm documentaries are totally free. Just sign up with your email. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there's a paid subscription option that unlocks the full library of how-to videos. Everything from creating bridal bouquets to centerpieces, corsages, and more. Tons of content to explore. You're gonna love it.